18th August 2024. This is my log for my recent meditation and out-of-body experiences. I was meditating yesterday inside the studio for about 2 hours. Then I logged the video of my last two experiences. Then I went back to my apartment. I meditated for about 35 minutes and then went straight to sleep. This was around 8 p.m. At around 10:20 or 10:30, I had a strange feeling that I was in between state, neither waking up nor deep in the sleep or dream. And I felt that I could just try to get out, but I was not being able to get out. So then I started visualizing a rotation movement clockwise. I started to feel that my non-physical body was starting to rotate as well. At first, my hands were down, and I started to raise my hands slowly up as I was rotating. And I felt that I could, at this point, try and see if it works. And I jumped. When I jumped, I felt that my non-physical body got a little bit out of sync and above my physical body and then back down immediately. While in the visualization, what was happening is I jumped and came down to the floor wherever I was rotating. Then I knew that I may be able to get out. So I continued this rotation movement. Somehow, strange space formed around me, and I found myself standing on a breeze. I continued rotating around, and then soon I felt that I may fall out of the breeze, which I did. I went close to the edge of the breeze and then I jumped, and this one just broke the dream completely. Then I was able to feel myself in my non-physical body. So then I rolled out of the bed. It was very heavy to get out of the bed. My whole body was feeling very heavy, but I couldn't move away so much, and I was immediately pulled back inside my physical body. So I continued this rotation visualization again. This time I also visualized hearing the sound of my legs on the floor while I was rotating around. And soon I felt that I got a little bit out of sync with my physical body. Then I rolled out again, and it felt again very heavy, and I was pushing my way outside of my body and trying to get away from my bed as much as possible, using the walls to just get me out. And I was hearing the sound on the wall, and I thought, this is not real, because outside of the body there is no sound waves moving around because there's no air or something like that. And nevertheless, I thought, okay, I don't care, I'll just get out as much as possible, and I'll open the window and then jump out. So I approached the window, I opened the window, and then it was still heavy, but I managed to get out of the window. And as I was out, I said, I want to meet my guides now. And I saw some colors shifting very faintly. It was not clear at all. But then again, I got back into my body, and this time I was completely back. So I just woke up and I recorded the experience on my phone. Then I went back to sleep, and the whole night I had a very restful, very good sleep. And around 6 a.m., maybe 6:30, 6:45, something like that, I was dreaming that I was showing my cousins how to fly in the dream. And I was telling them, you have to first create a world in the mind, or you can use some location that you already know, that you're well acquainted with, and you just use that location in the mind as an imagination and try to fly or float around or walk around that space. Then with the practice, we can shift our consciousness from this imagination type visualization of this world and movement inside this world to an out-of-body experience. And they understood, and I also told them, when you create a world like that and you're moving in, no one else can move in apart from you unless you invite someone to enter into this space with you. And this was still inside the dream. But later, when I woke up, I thought that this was actually my subconscious talking to me instead of me telling my cousins how to do it, if that makes sense. So my cousins started to practice this as an exercise, and I floated away from there and started flying away, and I found myself flying close to my grandparents' house. My parents were there, and my father asked me where I was going, and I said that I won't go far away, that I'm just floating around and just flying and checking, just being around the house. Then I was flying a little bit away from the house, and I heard my mom calling me. So I wanted to go towards my mom, but instead I got pulled from my back. So I could feel this movement of something pulling me from behind at a very rapid speed, and the feeling was throughout my body. While this movement was happening, something shifted. So dream ended and I was still being pulled. Then I landed in a new world with just sand everywhere, and I was falling down in this world and just on the top of a small sand hill. And this was strange because everywhere I was seeing there was just sand. I looked around and I saw some sort of excavator or something like that, but it was somehow leveling the ground. And that was strange to me. I thought maybe it's trying to terraform this planet or something. So I turned around and there was a person standing there. I couldn't see the face clearly, but he had a cloak, white cloak, or white colored aura around him. It was radiating. I didn't understand who this person was, and I asked, is anyone else here or is just us? And he said, at the moment, it's just us. And I thought, okay, it's nice, and I don't know what this place is. And he wanted me to somehow come with him, and I started to walk with him. And soon the place changed from just being sand to buildings appearing from sand, just as if they were rising up. And then somehow it started to turn like an alley, a very long alley, almost looking like a tunnel. And in the walls of this alley, looking like a tunnel, there were different objects like inside of a gallery or museum. These objects were just hanging on the wall, and I was looking at them as we walked. And a little in front, I saw a person. He was not stable. He was just walking very unstable. And he approached a door of a building, and he wanted to enter that building. And he was shouting for his wife to open the door. It looked like the door was locked from inside, and he was not able to go in. So he wanted to go in. And at this point, I had a communication with this person with white cloak, but this communication came to me as if a knowing within me. This is a bit difficult to explain, but at this point I realized that this person with white cloak was my guide, or someone who was there to assist me through what was about to happen. And I learned from this knowing, from this guide, that the man I was seeing banging the door was no more alive in the physical, and he was just not able to give up something so that he could just move on and complete the transition. And I knew that I could approach him and talk with him and help, but also I was thinking maybe he will not listen to me. So I went close to him and I started to talk with him. I don't necessarily remember everything that we talked, but I approached him and he said he wants to go in the house and there are his wife and children, but that he's locked outside and he can't enter. And then I asked him if he would like to take a walk with me around this place and if he trusts me. He looked at me and then he agreed to walk with me. So we were walking, and at that point I realized my guide was not there anymore. He was present there, but he was not present visibly. I could feel him that he's there, but I couldn't see him. So I and this person, we were walking, and I saw that this person had a face of one of my relatives who had passed away, but I did not tell him anything about that. I just knew that it's not relevant anymore. So we started walking. Still we were inside this tunnel. While we were walking through the tunnel, I thought I could just get out of this experience and back to my body. But I said to myself, no, I will complete this, whatever I'm here to do, before I will be back. So this knowing helped me remain and continue with this experience. And then a knowing was transmitted to me that this place, this gallery-like space, is somewhere that people who has transitioned or about to complete the transition, if the person has anything that holds him to the physical life, he needs to put it there as a decoration or a part, a symbol of his life, physical life, something like that. That it can be something very symbolic that he has to put up there. And when he does that, he's able to let go of that, and then he can move on and complete the transition. So we're walking and seeing different objects there. Other people were putting things there, and some people were just observing. It was almost like a gallery. And this man had something that he had to put there. I didn't know what he had with him that he has to put there, but I told him, whatever it is, you can just leave it here. And his impression was what he has is not that valuable or is not that extraordinary piece of art or anything that is so good that it can be put up there on the wall, if that makes sense. And we're still walking around while he was giving me that impression. And then we saw a broomstick from what we used to have back in Nepal, a special plant, and all the stems of this plant with the fur-like thing just held together with rope. And we saw one of those on the wall. And I told him, well, this can be here. I think what you have is okay to put here. It is also of a great value that can be considered a symbolic art form that you can put up here. We both laughed, and then he agreed to put what he has there. I didn't get to see what he had, but I knew that it was okay for me to not understand or see what he has to let go of. Then we started to move away from this gallery-like area and arrived to a place which seemed to be like the entrance point of physical to non-physical to beyond the transition area. And I saw influx of many people coming in, and I understood that they were people who had died from a war. It was somehow emotional for me, but not in a strong empathetic way. And I wanted to help the people who were coming in as much as I could. And at that point, I saw my guide next to the man that I was just helping. My guide was on my right side, and the man was on the center. And on the left side, it was just empty space and nothing there. And on my back was this portal or space in which a lot of people were pouring in. And my guide said, you will be helping them as much as possible, but at the moment you have to return back. And I wanted to say final goodbye to this man. At this point, this man could also see this guide in a white cloak. So this man said, Maya, it's all right. I'll be okay. We'll meet again. And he said, as a final word, which appeared to be see you again or goodbye or something like that, and the word was Sameknaz. And this word somehow felt to me like bye or we'll see again or take care or something like that. But when he said Maya, something triggered inside me, because this word Maya has been in my life since 2015 after the Nepal earthquake. And that was also the time when I started to seriously meditate. And what would happen in my meditation is a voice would come in as channeling, and this voice would guide me through my difficult times in my life. And I used to record these voices. Like I'm in a meditation, I record whatever is coming to me. And I'm also at the same time sitting there and listening to what's coming in from that inner voice. And those recordings I have published as book called Beyond Stories, and I called it, the book is by Maya. It's not from me. It's the message that probably my subconscious gave me to help me through my difficult times. And this word just made me remind of the great value that it has in my life, in my current life. I don't know if Maya is my subconscious or spirit name, or Maya is my guide's name. At some point, I was thinking the guide on my 17th OBE that she was Maya. Then I thought my guide on my 27th OBE was Maya. Someone must be Maya because this word came again and again. And this time I was called Maya. And I don't know, maybe the whole collection of my guides around me is Maya, or probably guides for everybody is Maya. I don't know. But anyways, this really gave me a goosebumps outside of body, in non-physical body, if it makes sense. And while he was saying these words, Maya, I'll be fine, I'll be all right, and we'll meet again soon, Samiknaz. While he said that, there was a ring that appeared in front of me. It was a golden ring with a circle, and in the middle there was a word M written. If I have to alphabetically categorize, that's the word M, but symbolically, I don't know what that is. It may be anything, but it appears. It's just a letter M for me at the moment. Then he was vanishing away from me. The guide was still there, and this guy said, okay, now you have to go back. You'll be helping us, and we'll meet again. Then I was back completely in my body, just like waking state, full awareness to waking state, full awareness. Then I immediately recorded this first word, Sameknaz. Then I recorded the experience because I knew if I didn't record that, I'd just completely forget the word. On the retrospection, there were a lot of symbols there, like the symbols of different objects on the wall of this tunnel, and the word symbol, Samik Naz. Then there was a ring with a circle and letter M in the center, and the world that I had landed just being completely just sand and nothing else. So these symbols somehow made a nice story of this experience, but most probably there is a deeper meaning behind each symbols as how it is in the outer body experiences and dreams and symbols and memories and archetypes. If I have to bring Carl Jung's perspective on this. Well, I had been asking for a retrieval mission, a soul retrieval, or assisting anyone who has died and is not able to complete the transition. And I had been asking for this since starting my Gateway Experience audios since January of this year, 2024. And so far, this is the second one with full vividness and full presence of actively performing this task. And the first one was me being very naive and just wanting to float and fly around. Also because this was one of the first few conscious out of body experiences, and I didn't want to deal with anything. I just wanted to fly around. And then there was this old lady, which I have logged in my previous experience. Okay. Well, see you after the next experience.